Hope everybody's doing okay today. Today's topic, quitting time. You got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, right? Now, every athlete, whether they play 1 year or make a career of it, every athlete knows at some point they're going to play the game to whatever serious level they've played it. They're going to play the game for a last time. You some people make the decision to quit on their own. Some people, whether they don't have the talent to move up to the next level, um, or they have a career-ending injury, or whether that happens in high school or college or even in the pros. Everybody makes, everybody has, to some degree, a bit of a decision about whether they're going to quit or not, or quitting is going to be forced upon them. A couple of stories. Um, Now, I've mentioned before I played high school football and I hurt my neck pretty badly my senior year, and I started one game, only varsity game I started. Then hurt my neck the next week at practice and barely sniffed the field the rest of the year. And after the season, the coach told me, he said, you know, hey, he called me Pat. I went by Pat in high school. I go by Patrick now. He said, Pat, he said you weren't really big enough to play center, and didn't want you to get hurt permanently or anything. So I just thought it best that you know, you concentrate on other things. So that one was, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to play after high school anyway, but baseball was a very similar deal. Although I stopped playing baseball um, even before the season started, my freshman year. My eyesight is not great. You see the glasses; I mess with them all the time. Um, I've got astigmatism, and I wear bifocals the whole bit. So um, I was still okay in the field. Could catch fine, could make plays. I was a second baseman. Um, could not hit high school pitching though to save my life. And the coach after practice one day he said Pat, he said I could you could keep coming to practice and you could sit on the bench completely. He said, but you're not going to get in the game. He said, you're just wasting your time. And he said, I like you too much to force you, to make you live through that. So, um, why don't you just, you know, stop right now, no harm, no foul, and nobody's going to think badly of you. So, yeah, yeah, I was already leaning that way anyway. So, hung up the cleats there. Um, Without giving away the kid that I know, kid, great athlete his whole life, football, baseball, basketball, and um, later in his school life, golf. Well, going into his freshman year in high school, he was a pitcher, and he was pitching 83 to 85 fairly consistently. And for a high school pitcher as a freshman, that's zipping it. Plus, he had a curveball that would just buckle your knees. I mean, just wicked curve. But he's also a scratch golfer, and he wanted to play golf on the high school level. So he went to the high school baseball coach, and he had played summer ball with the team. He went to the high school baseball coach because he knew, you know, tryouts were coming up, and he said, "Hey, coach, I'm going to be coming out, but want you to know that I also intend on playing golf. So how are we going to make this work?" He said, "Because I don't want to be a starter." He said, "I want to be your closer. I want to come in, pitch 1 or 2 innings, end up games for us, get the save, go home." And he said, "Well, unfortunately, if you play golf, you're going to miss a lot of practices. And if you miss practice, even one, you won't play in that week's game or games if we have more than one. So you're going to have to make the decision." He said he thought about it a minute and picked the baseball up off of the coach's desk and handed it to him. And the coach said, "So we can see you Monday at tryouts?" He said, "No, sir." He handed him the ball. and that was the end of his baseball career. And he never looked back. Uh, I know his folks were very disappointed because they knew his potential, but you know, he made the decision. He knew when to quit. Um, at some point in your career, you may have that decision to make as well. You know, do I stop working here? Do I hang it up? Do I retire? Do I move to another place? Do I hang out my own shingle? Do I, go into a completely line of work? At the end of the day, you are going to have to weigh that against your talents, abilities, knowledge, um, and the probability that you're going to be able to make whatever that next step work, whether it's retiring or whatever it is. Um, and that's not always an easy decision to make. I mentioned before, a couple of weeks ago that, excuse me, little dry throat today. Sorry. By the way, you like my Thanos mug? You like that? Yeah. I mentioned in a previous update that my general counsel left and went to another agency, and you know, all things being equal, meaning you know El Dinero, I suspect he would have stayed, and I would have been happy to keep him. But at the end of the day, he knew that the best choice for himself, for his career, for his family, he needed to move on because he was going to go someplace that was going to be able to pay him a lot better than what I could. And I hated to see him go. I know I'm going to miss him. He's only been gone a couple of days, but I know I'm going to miss him. But I shook his hand, told him, I understand completely, and I wish you the best. And I hope that if you end up in a similar situation, that whoever your boss is, that you've got a respectful enough relationship with them that they, treat you the same way. As a boss, it's always I never like to see anybody leave. But if they do leave because it's going to be better for them and their career and their family, I hope that by working for me that I've given them additional training and tools and whatever they need to be a success in that new role. Because in effect, at that point, they're acting as almost an ambassador of my organization, my tutelage, whatever you want to call it. So when you make that decision, make it a good one. Make the choice to move on or dig in your heels and stay where you are, but make sure it's the right decision for you, your family, and your career. And that's today's Red Mike message. If these messages are helpful to you at all, I'd appreciate a like, a follow, and a share. In addition to loading them up live here every day on Facebook, every weekday at 2:30 Central, I also end up posting them on YouTube. Look for Red Mike messages on YouTube. Um, and again, I would appreciate a like, a follow, and a share. And y'all have a good rest of your day.